after Russia eased Armenia with some trade restrictions, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Thursday. Ursula said she spoke with Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan about Russia's recent restriction targeting Armenia and described the incident as unacceptable. She added that by extending export restrictions on Armenian products, Moscow is weaponizing economic relations for political pressure. And the numbers of people claiming unemployment benefits in the U.S. rose by 13,000 to 225,000 in the last week of May, above market expectation of 212,000. It was the highest initial claim count since the first week of February. Still, continuing jobless claims, which are seen as a gauge of outstanding unemployment in the U.S., eased by 8,000 in the earlier week to 1,777,000. While failing to maintain the low level of the last quarter, the figure remained within the average of the last 2 years, extending the period of a low-firing labor backdrop. Meanwhile, initial claims filed by federal employees, which have been under scrutiny due to administration efforts in decreasing the number of public workers, rose by 37 to 464. UK's new car sales climbed 7.1% year-over-year to 160,662 units in May 2026, the strongest May performance since 2019. This is according to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. Private buyers' demand led the growth, with registration jumping 17.2% as consumers took advantage of competitive offers from a record range of brands and a 6.4% increase in model choices, including a 25.6% rise in battery electric vehicle sales year to date. Fleet demand grew modestly by 1.8%, accounting for 57.1% of all registration, while the smaller business sector declined by 18.8%. In Nigeria, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling youth unemployment through strategic partnership with International Development Organization as it targets the creation of at least 20,000 jobs under the Nigeria Jubilee Fellow Program. Speaking at the 2026 Job Fair in Abuja, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Delivery and Coordination, Akubo Adegbe, said the initiative demonstrates the administration's determination to provide meaningful economic opportunities for young Nigerians.
According to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's unemployment rate stood at 4.3% in the second quarter of 2024 under the revised methodology. While youth unemployment remained significantly higher, with more than 150 million Nigerian youth estimated to be of working age and millions of young people entering the labor market each year, creating quality jobs and improving employability skills have remained critical to the country's economic future. Addressing more than 5,000 participants at this event, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Delivery and Coordination, Akubo Adegbe, stressed the importance of stronger collaboration between government, the private sector, and development partners in expanding access to jobs.
Again, the Jubilee Fellows Program is designed to address the issue of experience. And so we're saying young people don't need experience to start work, but young people need opportunity to start working. And in those 12 months, they will learn a lot. They'll become experienced enough to continue their work life. We don't want anybody taken out of the labor market because they have no work experience.
The expectation for us is that at the end of the day, all 1,500 fellows in this event are able to secure jobs and kick off as early as next Monday in their first opportunity for work in Nigeria. The Nigeria Jubilee Fellow Program prioritizes the interest of employers, but also takes it very important, the welfare of the fellows.
The Economic Advisor of United Nations Development Program, Tony Muhumuza, described the program as a strategic investment in Nigeria's human capital development.
We really need to be a bit considerate that the young people, what they are bringing may not be the 5 years experience you are looking for, but they come with the curiosity to learn, they come with the zeal, they come with the skills they have actually been able to learn from school. And many of these young people, the skills that they have, trust me, some of us at different levels, we don't have those skills.
The initiative connects graduates with organizations across key sectors of the economy, providing them with hands-on work experience, professional mentorship, and opportunities to develop job-ready skills. Olamide Ario, AIT News, Abuja.
Nigeria's ambition to strengthen its position in African production and export market is increasingly being tied to one key factor: compliance with globally accepted quality standards. The Minister of Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Chris Isopon, says manufacturers must align with these standards if the country is to fully benefit from opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area and expand its industrial competitiveness across the continent.
As the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement gathers momentum, Africa must move beyond fragmented markets toward a more integrated and competitive continental economy. However, success will depend not only on market access, but on the ability of businesses to produce goods that inspire trust and meet accepted standards across borders.
Standards build consumer confidence. It protects public health and creates a level playing ground for businesses. For the organized private sector, adhering to rigorous standards is not a regulatory burden to be avoided, but a strategic business imperative. It is a bridge that connects local ingenuity to global market opportunities.
Industry experts say adherence to quality and standardization will help remove trade barriers, improve product acceptance, and strengthen Nigeria's industrial base.
Without common standards, African manufacturers face multiple certification requirements and inconsistent quality expectations in different markets. Harmonized standards, therefore, provide industries with a unified framework for production, conformity acceptance, and market acceptance.
What is the problem with population or with quantity is that there is lack of quantity in quality. Therefore, the issue of quality, whatever you consider quality, is very important. So I think this organization, this kind of forum, is to encourage quality in whatever we are doing.
They stress that quality assurance is now central to sustainable industrialization and remains a critical requirement for businesses seeking broader access to Africa and global markets. The Energy Commission of Nigeria says stronger collaboration among stakeholders is critical to achieving the country's energy transition plan and addressing long-standing challenges in the power and energy sector. Speaking in Abuja on Thursday during the signing of partnership agreement with 16 organizations, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Energy Commission of Nigeria, Dr. Mustapha Abdullahi, described the development as a significant step towards deepening cooperation across the energy and value chain.
The partnerships being formalized today are particularly significant as they directly support several pillars of energy transition plan, particularly in the areas of energy, renewable energy deployment, advancing renewable energy technologies, improving energy efficiency in businesses and households, promoting cleaner transportation fuels.
Participants at the event held the Commission's national energy goals, assuring that it will help develop local capacity.
And that's what we want to share with Nigeria, how to get more efficient power supply, more efficient electricity.
We are selling a lot of co-generator module system, and I hope we will useful Nigerians build a power plant and give a lot of opportunities.
The Commission noted that the partnership are expected to strengthen collaboration among government institutions, academic and research organizations, industry players, and development partners. The initiative is also aimed at supporting innovation, technology transfer, and capacity building and investment needs. And that's it on Kakaaki Business. Good morning.
Thank you so much for staying with us. That was Kakaaki Business. Now let's take you to Kogi State, where the Commissioner of Police, Naziru Kankarufi, is engaging with stakeholders in the education sector across the state. It's been meeting with principals and education stakeholders in a proactive move aimed at preventing possible attacks and abductions in schools. Now, that emergency consultation, which held in Lokoja, brought together key actors in the education sector to review vulnerabilities in schools and strengthen preventive measures against criminal threats targeting pupils, students, and of course, their teachers. Our correspondent in Lokoja reports that the meeting raised concerns over several security gaps currently affecting schools across the state. Let's bring you that report now.
Among the issues highlighted were the absence of perimeter fencing in many public schools, weak security awareness systems, increased cases of land encroachment, illegal mining activities around school environments, and the growing influence of substance abuse, all of which were described as risk factors, exposing learners to danger. Some participants urged the state government to urgently increase investment in school security infrastructure and strengthen collaboration with relevant security agencies to safeguard educational facilities.
Recognized government agencies should be given the burden or the opportunity to take the security of mining sites.
Holistic attention on our schools, like the perimeter fencing, provision of security, maybe vigilantes in our schools, and a host of other.
Of our schools, and which we are on now, to make sure that areas that the states can intervene, especially in the issue of putting on the physical infrastructure.
After listening to the concerns and recommendations, the Commissioner of Police assured participants that the command is already working on a strengthened security framework for schools across Kogi State.
Perimeter fencing, how the state vigilante services can work together with the police to secure those schools.
The police command says further measures will be rolled out in the coming days as part of broader efforts to improve safety across the state education sector. Tehumba Akaya, AIT News, Lokoja.
Well, we do know that schools are soft targets and that they have been the subject of attacks by bandits and kidnappers very, very recently. Of course, the Ox in Nyanya here in Abuja yesterday is a pointer to that fact, and we do hope that this new initiative in Kogi will yield fruit and ensure that children can go to school safely. Now let's bring you something else and look at the renewed push to reduce preventable deaths among women in Cross River State, where the government there is intensifying its cervical cancer prevention campaign through large-scale screening and awareness initiatives. A free cervical cancer screening exercise has been carried out at the General Hospital in Calabar, targeting 1,000 women in its first phase as part of a broader statewide health intervention.
The exercise conducted by the Cross River State government brought together health professionals to provide free screening, counseling, and medical guidance for women. Officials say the intervention is aimed at strengthening early detection systems and reducing fatalities linked to cervical cancer, which remains one of the leading causes of cancer-related deaths among women. Medical expert Dr. Egbe John described cervical cancer as a silent but highly preventable disease, warning that late presentation remains a major factor behind its high mortality rate.
Early detection saves life. That's why we choose to screen women for this particular cancer. We don't want this cancer to happen even in the first instance.
Also speaking, the Director of Nursing Services at the General Hospital in Calabar, Mbang Fabian, said the screening initiative marks the beginning of a phased statewide outreach.
If you don't identify the cancer on time, you have a real cancer propping up and subsequently death may arise.
It's not just a result kind of thing, but it is something that has also a solution. It is not finding out that you have, but it has a solution.
The Cross River State government says it remains committed to expanding preventable healthcare services and strengthening early detection programs aimed at reducing avoidable deaths among women across the state. In Emesat Ifio, AIT News, Calabar.
All right, thank you very much, Nemesit, for that report. Now, let's take a look at something else, this time looking at climate change. And Nigeria is advancing the implementation of the Nationally Determined Contribution, NDC 3.0, under the Paris Agreement as part of the efforts towards achieving climate ambition, and youths have been encouraged to champion that goal. The Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, NCCC, Tenioye Majakodumi, who made the call during the first Nigeria Youth Climate Summit in Abuja, said youth participation will strengthen Nigeria's NDC 3.0. Let's take a look at this report by our correspondent. Okay, that report will come later. Let's take a break now, and we'll bring you other segments of the program.
Ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypower Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation. Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypower Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live. The issues as they break. The multitude. The political figures. The state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our governments seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Gender Agenda is where policy meets people. It's a bold policy literacy platform bridging the gap between decision makers and women across every sector. From parliament to politics, from leadership to governance, from peace to economy, development, human rights. From Nigeria to the rest of Africa, Gender Agenda amplifies voices too often excluded, ensuring every voice counts. Through compelling storytelling, social impact dialogue, thought-provoking documentaries, town halls that lean on data and research, we raise the bar. Gender Agenda, every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on AIT and on AIT's YouTube channel live.
My name is Adora Sidney Jack, and this is Gender Agenda.
Gender Agenda, women rising.
In the hallowed chambers where laws are forged and a nation's destiny is decided.
This is your parliamentary program, Inside the Parliament on AIT.
Voices rise, opinions clash, debates ignite.
We cannot be apologetic in the discharge of our constitutional duties as lawmakers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The burden of proving that the elections have been conducted peacefully and in accordance with law must shift to INEC.
From the Senate to the House of Representatives, this is where policies are tested, laws are crafted, and authority is held to account.
We spoke to some lawmakers on their opinions of the document presented by the President.
Every motion, every argument carries the hopes of millions.
We need more hospitals, more health clinics in communities so that they can effectively take care of the primary health need of our people.
The questions are tough. The exchanges are intense.
Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice.
And those who want the proviso are 55 in number. And so the proviso says.
But who truly stands for the people? Who is driving the change that defines our tomorrow?
Let us tell ourselves the truth. Why are we here talking about LGBT, GTBT, whatever?
Get the answers on Where Nigeria Decides on Inside the Parliament on AIT every Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. In today's global economy, information is everywhere, but insight is rare.
Because of the high rate of fuel, the cost of commodities, cost of everything in this country is high.
This is unacceptable because Nigerians cannot be made to suffer every time.
So, where do you turn for clarity? The right questions.
What is the need for Nigerians? Let's really break it down. Income strata-wise, revenue strata-wise for companies. What are some of the inhibitions that are not making trade work for all?
The real answers.
Stimulus package must take a different shape beyond what we have seen in sharing of rice, sharing of money.
Nancy brings it to you on Moneyline with Nancy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Moneyline with Nancy.
Clear, well-researched conversations focused on what truly impacts you.
Is it that we don't know the number of MSMEs we have in the country, or we don't know where they are?
I don't think we can identify 40-something million MSMEs as a people and as a country.
Nigeria has the policy framework in place to be a leader on this approach. You can make farmers bankable.
Moneyline with Nancy now airs 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Weekdays, live on AIT and online. If it matters to the economy, join us. The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypa Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
Kakaaki, the African Voice, is still on your screen this Friday morning. It's now time for us to bring you our social intervention segment.
And welcome to Get Fit in 60 Seconds with Dolly Phillips. Now, everyone has 60 seconds in every day to spare. So if you're ready, let's go! Hamstrings, you should feel it right there. That's right. Awesome. Well done. That was awesome. Well done! I hope you had a great workout. Anyway, what I need you to do is to follow us on Instagram at Alpha Fitness Studios and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Alpha Fitness Studios, for free workout videos, free dance videos, sales and promos, and make sure you join us at the gym, Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1 next time you're in Lagos. So until the next time, bye-bye!
Hello, great people of Nigeria. Welcome to the Leadership Clinic. Today, I'll be speaking the subject matter I've titled Learning from Your Mistake. You will make mistakes. It happens to all of us. We are all humans, including me. I make mistakes, and I've made a lot of mistakes as well. But the interesting thing about making a mistake is, what do you do when you fail? What do you do when things go wrong and you're responsible for it? So most people either deny it or they dwell on it. Self-denial cannot help you. Blaming others can't help you. The most important thing is when you fail, you take responsibility and you desire to learn from your failure. Most of the most outstanding leaders that I know today were individuals who found themselves from the mistake that they have made. So how do you turn mistakes into growth? First, acknowledge it quickly. Don't hide it or make excuses. Apologize if you have to. Second, analyze what went wrong. What was the decision that you made that brought about the mistake? What information did I have? What did I do? What did I not do? What did I miss? You see, you reflect. The power of reflection around the source of the mistake can be a guarantee that next time you won't be able to make that type of mistake again. Third thing is identify the lesson that has been learned. What would you do differently next time? What system can put you in a place to avoid making the same mistake that you have made before? Fourth, make amends if needed. If your mistakes hurt someone, apologize and make it right. I mean, there's nothing wrong apologizing. A lot of people make mistakes. They fail other people. Guess what? They simply say they are sorry, but they do not have the strength to actually truly apologize and turn a new leaf towards those individuals. You see? So, fifth is share the lessons. Help others avoid the same mistake. Your failure can become someone else's wisdom. That's why the concept of mentorship comes into place. There are a lot of people today who have succeeded in life. They have made a lot of money, succeeded in private industry. In their private industry, they have made a big difference. But guess what? They have not been able to make out time to teach the generations coming after them how not to make the mistakes that they made. Some people today have failed completely because of the mistakes that they made, and they stayed on the ground, refusing to rise. They too have an opportunity to share with people around them how not to make the mistakes that they made that has kept them on a place of stunted growth. The reality is the fact that number 6 is sometimes you have to forgive yourself. If you have made a mistake, you have to forgive yourself and move forward. Don't camp or out in guilt. Several people today have refused to learn from their mistakes. They have blamed themselves. They have kept themselves by themselves. They have not forgiven themselves. That's why they are unable to take actions that can help them become great. So mistakes are part of your leadership journey. Take note of that and become the best that you can ever be. Great people of Nigeria, you must remember, if a man doesn't have a purpose of waking up, sleeping becomes interesting.
Fellow Africans, what is African time? What is it? Why pride ourselves in the indolence of deliberately being late for functions? In Africa, we have just 24 hours in the day, just like any other part of the world. So I ask again, what is African time? Hello there, my name is Etienne Akwansong, your preferred etiquette and personal refinement coach. Today, let us look at this topic, punctuality. What does it really mean? Punctuality is simply the act of being on time. But why is it important to always be punctual? Firstly, punctuality demonstrates that you have respect for other people's time. Whether you're going for a meeting, a class, or a party, showing up on time shows that you value other people's time as much as yours. Secondly, punctuality helps you build trust and credibility with others. When you consistently show up on time, people begin to see you as reliable and dependable. Thirdly, punctuality allows you to be more productive. When you are late, you don't only disrupt the flow of an event, but you also miss out on some of the important information or tasks that have been shared. Lastly, being punctual can reduce stress and anxiety. When you have to rush to get somewhere on time, it can be extremely stressful and can affect your overall well-being. In order to be punctual, know how long it takes you to get somewhere and set out on time to avoid unforeseen circumstances like a traffic jam. Always have a timepiece on. Set early reminders on your phone. And if you have made all this effort to get somewhere on time, but unfortunately are unable to arrive on time, upon your arrival, remember to apologize to the people you kept waiting. Understand that it is extremely rude to keep people waiting. Remember, being punctual is more than just showing up on time. It is a reflection of your character and personality. Be intentional and keep it classy always. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You are on to Kakaaki, the African Voice, and it is 7 a.m., that time of day when we take a look at the front pages of the newspapers, of course, the headlines that are on them. And, of course, we have reviewers who will come on to tell us the news behind the news, the story behind the story. This morning, Emmanuel Aziken is here with me. He's joined by Ezio Chanze. Emmanuel is the editor-in-chief of GWGNG, and Ezio Chanze, editor of the Disclosure News. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to see you again.
Morning.
It's been quite a while. I hope
true.
you're doing well.
We're doing well.
Great. Great. So let's look at what the papers have for us this morning, and we begin this morning with the Disclosure News. That's Ezio Chan's paper, and it leads with the story, Insecurity. Nigerians groan as FG blocks Abuja roads, tightens security over planned protest. It has a rider, says, declares no child belongs in captivity. You'll find details of that story on page 2 of the paper. And right, the picture story there, investigation, how corruption breeds malnourished Nigerian children. Nigeria records among highest maternal newborn mortality rates globally. MSF, that's Medecins Sans Frontières. And the second rider is about saying over 440,000 children have been treated for malnutrition. Let's go to this Nigeria Now, which is the next paper we have. Oyo abduction. Security alert at Villa over protest threat. IGP NAS fine-tuned framework for state police. You'll find details of that on page 5 of the paper. And tucked to the right side of the page, you'll find that story. Minority leader race, reps in rowdy session over alleged signature forgery. Details on page 16 of the paper. Let's go now to the Daily Sun. And it leads with the story, security tightened around Aso Rock. As Shore leads Abuja protest, demands release of kidnapped school children. FG not learning from past attacks. That's credited to Atiku Abubakar. You'll find details of that story on page 6 of the paper. And right below the masthead of the Daily Sun, you see that story there. Fear grips schools over worsening insecurity. ANCOPS, NAPS, NUT, others urge government to act fast to arrest situation. Let's go to the Business NG, the same story there. Fear over school safety spreads across Nigeria as parents keep children at home. That story flows from page 1 and continues on page 2 of the paper. The Nigerian News Direct is the next paper we have, and its own headline says, that's the main headline now, terrorists targeting schools to spread fear, disrupt education. FG, as intelligence-led operations intensify against terrorist networks, over 1,000 insurgents killed in first quarter of 2026. That's what the paper leads with, and you'll find details of that on page 5 of the paper. Okay, moving on to the next paper, which is the Daily Newscraft. Its own lead story says, insecurity, schools shut, residents scamper for safety in Maraba FCT border community. And the writers say kidnappers allegedly sighted near Bagalape Primary School. Police debunk kidnapping report. You'll find details of that on page 2 of the Daily Newscraft. And the Blueprint, which is the paper I have with me that I'm holding right now, leads with the story, rescue of abducted Oyo Borno school children, top security priority. Federal government is the one saying that. And the writers say vows to crush banditry terrorism. Others secures 386 convictions, 500 suspects facing trial. Page 14 is where you're going to find the rest of that story because it begins right from the front page. Let's go now to Leadership Friday. Its own story. The lead story here says, despite death sentence for killers, our massacre survivors still in agony. Page 4 is where you'll find the details. And the writer says, government should punish massacre sponsors, says woman who lost legs eye. Also on the front page of that paper, you will find a sports story, which is one of the rare things on this segment. Ejiofor urges NFF to retain Chell as Super Eagles head coach. Moving away from the Leadership Friday, let's go to the Daily Monitor. Its lead story is about the state police. Constitutional framework near completion. Presidency. The writer says national conversation has shifted to how best to structure its legal institutional framework for effective operation. Minority leader race, reps in rowdy session over alleged signature forgery. That's at the bottom of the page with the rider. Minority reps insist Agbese signed document endorsing Ugo Chinyere as leader. The Standard Times is where we're going next. State police constitutional framework near completion. Presidency. That is how the paper leads this morning. There are several other headlines on that story, but that's the main one for this morning. And the presidency is being quoted in that headline. Al Jazeera on Friday says minority leader seat, reps in rowdy session. That's its own lead headline this morning. And the writers say, as race for Chinda's replacement hots up, Agbese alleges signature forgery in Ugo Chinyere's nomination. Page 9 is where you'll find details of that. Daily Global is next. 2027, Tinubu's reforms versus opposition gang up. That is the top story, the main headline on the front page of the paper. And let's look at how the authority leads this morning. How our reforms are reshaping procurement in Nigeria. BPP boss. That's the BPP boss. That's Adedokun Adebowale, Dr. Adedokun Adebowale talking there. The Daily Asset is the next paper we have. Its headline is talking about how the Dangote refinery has surpassed capacity target and 1.4 million barrels per day expansion. All right, let's go to the Daily Independent, and it's an aviation story here that's leading on the front page of that paper. Flight operations at risk as Nigeria's Jet A1 crisis deepens. Experts push for direct crude allocation to local refiners. That's the top story right there on the front page of the Daily Independent. And let's go to the Whistler. The Whistler talks about tomato-rich revenue poor. Why Nigeria can't tap into $12 billion global market. Pests cost growers billions in production losses. Weak infrastructure, poor storage undermine export potential. Nigeria spends over $400 million annually importing tomato pastes. That's the top story on the front page of the Whistler, with graphic details telling you, of course, what's happening to Nigeria's tomato value chain. And at the top of the masthead, you see the headline, Tinubu, NAS leadership strategize on state police amid rising insecurity. Observer's Times is the next paper we have, and it is the last paper for this morning. Ekiti LG Vice Chairman remanded over alleged staged kidnapping. Investigation reveals the abduction was faked to raise funds for outstanding debts. All right, that's the last paper we have this morning. Let's now go to our reviewers and pick up the talking points, the main talking points. And we'll start with the insecurity this morning. I'm going to start with you, Ezocha. Nigerians groan as FD blocks Abuja roads, tightens security over planned protest. Your paper leads with that, as well as The Sun, The Daily Sun, and This Nigeria. What's the story here? Because I was home yesterday resting when my wife called and said, hey, have you heard about the abduction that's going on around Yanya? I said, no, I haven't heard about it. And I tried to read up on it until I later found that it was a hoax. So what exactly is going on here?
Yeah, for the alleged abduction that took place at Gbagalape community along Maraba, the police has debunked it. It was rumored that hoodlums went to a public school there and abducted some children. And the fear, the news, brought fear into schools within that area. And I know that even my own children, when they're on their school, they were asked to return home. They closed their schools, and for fear of the abduction spreading to other schools. And I'm not even sure that they will also reopen today. That is how the insecurity that is targeting little children in schools is now spreading. When it started in the northeast, maybe we thought it will not come down to the center or to the west, and you can now see that even the northwest is now receiving the heat. Though it also happened in Zamfara yesterday when 7 Zamfara Polytechnic students were picked up. And, the continued stay of these school children in captivity has led to protest across the nation. And the protest spread to the FCT yesterday, leaving commuters stranded with heavy hold-up, and major routes leading to the city center blocked because of the fear of protest by NLC and civil society groups, which also happened. I think all these protests is a wake-up call to the federal government, because when such protests take place, the masses suffer it, just like what happened yesterday. If you see how people were trekking, moving on their foot, with commercial buses and taxis that will take them to their real destination, will drop them kilometers away from where they will come alight from, because they have already been diverted. In fact, I was at the midst of it, because I was going to town for an assignment yesterday. I couldn't even access the federal secretariat, which is always my route, because immediately you climb the little hill approaching the Api Court there, you will be diverted, and without knowing where you are going to. And if you see the type of stress, hold up, that happened, but the protesters still had their way, because the message they are saying is, release these children. The protest is not only against federal government, this is also against the terrorists who are holding these children, who have stopped parents from celebrating what children celebrated last week, the Children's Day. The appeal is that these children should be released. And talking about the government, the appeal is that federal government and state government should also intensify efforts to see. I like what the Minister of Information said yesterday, that all efforts should be made to release these children, because no Nigerian child should be in captivity. And that is the message. No Nigerian child should be in captivity. But it should not only end on newspaper pages and TV and radio announcements. They should do the talk. I will walk the talk, because these children have continued to stay. We saw how it's going to about 3 weeks now, and nobody has heard of them. I think, yes, the Nigerian military, they are doing a lot. If you look at the blueprint today, they have rolled out all the efforts they have made. The people the number
yes,
that have
the
been,
convictions, the suspects who are on trial and all of that.
Exactly. We turn them up, because the thing is a hydra-headed attack now that is causing confusion. You don't know where it will happen tomorrow. When these ones they are talking, it is in the northwest, it is in the south, in the southwest, north central, northeast, even in the southeast. So you can see that it is more. It has a multiple face now.
Okay.
And I think it is time where we commend them for the effort they are doing. They should also do more.
Emmanuel, the Daily Newscraft has a headline that I find quite interesting because of the verb that was used in that headline. And it puts it this way: insecurity, schools shut, residents scamper for safety. That word, scamper for safety, in Maraba FCT community. And then you've got the government saying, look, we're doing all we can. But the fear is palpable. And people, it's not just about protesting. People are really scared now because it doesn't look like there's any let-up in this.
So when you say scamper, it means an unorganized flight. People are running anywhere they can.
In panic. People.
In panic. And I want to say Nigeria is really in panic. Nigeria is in a state of panic. And one will commend the police. At least they responded positively and appropriate and apparently swiftly to the situation in Maraba yesterday. That nothing happened, as it were. So, but a little, once you, what the situation you see in Nigeria now, if you see somebody dressed in a certain way, there's a sort of profiling that is going on. And if the person has an arm, a weapon, he's immediately targeted as a kidnapper. So that is the situation we have in the country, and making the hearts of people to beat. So why we say that, yes, the police responded positively and swiftly to the situation in Maraba yesterday, it wasn't the same in Zamfara also, where 6 students, nobody is talking about that now. Nobody is talking about the Zamfara students who were picked from their hostel. They were not picked in the bush. They were picked from their hostel. And that is the situation we have on ground. In as much as, yes, the administration is disclosing its, apparently, its efforts, but the efforts are not enough. The efforts are not enough. We are reading reports of the movement towards state police, which many people believe can be a remedy towards addressing the state of insecurity. But I don't think the government has been swift enough in addressing this. If you're able to change the national anthem in 24 hours, if you're able to push through tax reform proposals, despite the challenges and the opposition that came from here and there, why in 3 years you've not been able to concretize efforts towards changing the architecture of the police system in the country? So I think the administration needs to do more. We are seeing a lot of politicking. Yesterday, the House of Representatives, why, despite the state of insecurity, they were talking about forgery, $50,000 scandal being given to each member to elect a minority leader. So you see, our leaders are they're self-centered. Instead of the issue, people are scampering, as you said, as it was reported. People are scampering nearby. Meanwhile, the reps were involved in a scandal over the distribution of $50,000 to each member to help elect a new minority leader. So I think our political actors across board have not been up to their game in addressing the issues we have in the land.
All right, let me quickly take some contributions from social media. I'm talking about those who are watching us online on our YouTube channel. And quite a number of them, but the one that strikes me the most is from Mike Agbo, who is in the US. He says, security is everyone's business. Kunle kindly asks your guest if he knows the occupation of his next-door neighbor. Isacha, do you know what your next-door neighbor does? Emmanuel, do you?
Actually, we know. But this, you see, using this word, security is everybody's business. is, much as I agree that security is everybody's business, but we also know that the constitution of this country makes it very clear that the duty of government is to provide security and welfare of the citizens. And these governments the people in these governments receive security fund. And they are the people we have entrusted to take care of our welfare and our security. So if we keep saying security is everybody's government, everybody's business. What is the duty? Why are you now taking our money? Taking it. Much as I agree to an extent that you should know your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
And I agree that, like Iman said, this state police of a thing, now that it has come to this way, that you don't even know what will happen as you are leaving this studio. I think state police now should be fast. The seatbelt should be fastened, and it has to be on a very top big gear so that it will be actualized. But let us not be hammering on this. Security is everybody's business. Security is everybody's business. Much as we know we have to do our own, but security is the task of government.
Is the business of government.
Is the business of
primarily.
government.
Is the primary
business of government.
All right.
So let them not shift this.
We are agreed on that, actually. All the three of us in the studio here are agreed on that. And the football filter also on our YouTube channel making a comment says it is the business of government to provide security. But let's look at one of the efforts that the government is making to provide security, because we look at the Daily Monitor this morning and the Standard Times talking about state police constitutional framework near completion. That's according to the presidency manual. The chief of staff did come out to say quite a lot about this yesterday.
Well, as I said earlier, I appreciate they are making an effort, but there should be timelines to this. You have been there for 3 years. You wanted to change the national anthem, I said. You changed it in another 24 hours. You brought in tax proposals. In another 6 months, we have a new tax regime. What of this issue?
Signed the Electoral Act within how many minutes?
Minutes. So if the issue of insecurity that has shadowed the government, even preceded this present administration, I believe, look at one thing. This president, when he was coming in, there was during the campaigns, he promised to recruit hundreds of thousands of persons into the security architecture. We have not seen that. So
there have been reports also that young people don't want to join the security agencies.
Because it's not,
especially in the southeast.
The incentives are not commendable enough for them. You have to enter and these are the issues that government should prioritize. Are you going to, we've had reports that in the last year, only 5% of provisions, budget for the armed forces was released. So do you expect somebody to come into the army to go and fight with his hands? So government has the capacity. It's the priority that the administration is giving to it, to the issue of security, that people are not are concerned about. This is an administration that has been able to decimate the political opposition. You can imagine Labour Party, PDP, SADC, they are all in crisis because of the effectiveness of the political machine of the government, of the ruling party. Why don't you bring this kind of prowess? Why don't you bring this kind of energy into tackling the issue of insecurity? When I see people returning their certificates of return, taking pictures with the president, I say, does that mean that this is the primary concern of the president? I expect that the president said he slimmed down.
He lost weight.
That he lost weight.
Because slimming down is a deliberate effort.
Okay, that he's lost weight. But we need to see, we don't think he has lost weight enough based on the situations we have in the country. More. It is going around now. The former minister's nephews and sister are in captivity now. Yesterday, Zamfara students were captured. We have how many students in Borno that have been in captivity across the country. Look at it. Out of 8 ECWA church members that were kidnapped about 2 months ago, 5 of them are dead. Dead in captivity. People were removed from church. They went to pray. They were removed from the church. 5 of them are dead out of 8. And we have a government. It is happening everywhere. And you say you are still planning, making formulations for state police. I have for long had issues about state police because of the way I believe that governors will use it. But for whatever.
Let it be now.
Let it be.
Yes.
All right. Looking at we need to go in the next few minutes, but when you look at the state of insecurity, Ezeacha, and I'm worried that these soft targets are being attacked not just in one location. Before, 3-4 years ago when we talked about insecurity, everybody was talking about the BAY states, Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, but it's everywhere now. Now you even have a story, I think it's on the, was it on the Whistler or one of the headlines that said deputy vice chairman of a local government in Ekiti State faked her own kidnap so that she can get money to pay debts that she that acquired somehow. And it's beginning to look more like this thing is a business now.
It is a business.
Yeah, it is a business. It is a business. You see, when in my place, they will say when you carry another person's corpse, it will be as if you are carrying a bunch of firewood. You see, when this thing started and nobody is taking adequate care, measures to stop it, especially those in government. Like Imash said now, a former minister is now affected. Who knows who will be next? If they don't target you directly because you may have routine of aides, security aides carrying big guns. You have a home, you have relatives. And if they pick any of your relatives, it has affected you.
Okay.
You see, so what I'm trying to say here is that we should see it as a national, though it has been seen as a national, but the efforts we are making, especially our politicians. Like Emma said, you saw what happened at the National Assembly yesterday. A country where citizens are being held in captivity in almost every geographical zone. In their numbers. A country where our children went to school, both those 2 years, 3 years, and others, including their teachers, abducted for over 3 weeks. A country where over 40 students were abducted in the southeast, in the northeast. A country where terrorists, or whatever you call them, went to the hostel of students in a higher institution and picked them. Nobody is talking about it. And what they are busy doing is sharing money, giving bribes, allegedly giving bribes to make me become this. And accusation and counter-accusation. I collected, I signed, I didn't sign.
And there's a CCTV.
And the CCTV evidence has shown that some people...
imagine the kind of people we have as leaders?
No longer have shame.
Gentlemen.
It is not, we only dwell on this because
gentlemen,
we should also be talking about some good things in the society. If we look at this, my brother, you ask yourself, is this a country?
We spent most of this segment talking about insecurity. Now let's talk about something a little bit on the positive side. Let's look at the authority in Isupa and its headline this morning that says how our reforms are reshaping procurement in Nigeria. That's quoting the BPP boss, Dr. Adebowale Adedokun. How do you read that?
Well, it's a positive, a positive development. At least something is coming from the BPP. Not just the BPP. We have had some other positive initiatives from the administration, but specifically because procurement, it's a very important the framework we have for procurement is very important for our fiscal development. So, what is also commendable from that, I read part of the story, is the fact that the man is giving commendation to the president for giving him the impetus, for giving him the energy and the enlarging the capacity.
He called it support.
Support, as it were. So one would appreciate that, but we need to see signs, we need to see facts and figures to this. In as much as we see the we are seeing that's the DG, Dr. Adedokun, appreciating the support he's getting from the president, getting from the administration. We also need the whole garment of the whole government architecture to follow the imprints that this man is saying. And what do I mean by this? We need to see the federal government, we need to see government officials prioritizing made in Nigeria goods. We need to see them buying, go on tour, go on holiday in Nigeria. We need to see them buy made in Nigeria cars. So the efforts being, the commendations that the DG is now saying, in as much as it's appreciated, we need to see it escalated across the polity.
Okay. Ezeocha,
I
a final
want to come
one.
in here by, first of all, in the first place, thumbing up Dr. Adedokun on the measures he has taken so far. I followed the event yesterday, which they call Procurement Evolution, and he took time to reel out measures they have taken, especially in making sure that MDAs queue into the new program. For example, there are processes where MDAs have now been mandatorily made to send in monthly reports of contracts, as well as weekly reports of review of those, quarterly reports of review of those contracts. These are things that were maybe lacking in the past. And again, you look at where he talked about measures also to monitor the contractors themselves, to make sure that all the contracts are well delivered, to encourage accountability and transparency. And if any contractor fails, it will be sanctioned. And if you look at all these things, you now see that the BPP under this man, and with the help and the support he is getting from the federal government, has reshaped the country. He also talked about, like Emma talked about, Nigeria First policy. The Nigeria First policy, like the man talked, especially in the automobile sector, has yielded a lot of savings for the country, because the MDAs have been, according to him, the MDAs have been mandated to patronize locally made goods. And they are also, the BPP said they are also making efforts to make sure that the Nigeria First policy is taken into other sectors, like agriculture, goods, and services. If we now say, okay, if they implement it, the companies involved, the MDAs follow the rules and make sure that they do it as this, the BPP has programmed it, I think what we are talking about, Nigeria First, will be actualized. I also believe that with the efforts of Dr. Adebowale Adedokun, the BPP is reshaping procurement in the structure in this country, unlike what it used to be in the past. I think they should do more. I thumb them up because they are doing very good. They are doing a very good job as far as procurement is concerned, with all the programs and this they have mapped out. And they will also they also have what they call their
we have to go.
That it must be they must be commended.
We have to go now. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Emmanuel Aziken, the editor-in-chief of GWGNG, and Ezio Chanze, editor of Disclosure News, have been my reviewers this morning on the Newspaper Review. Have a great day, gentlemen, and enjoy whatever you can of your weekend, because I know you work all through the weekends.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move away from the Newspaper Review now and, of course, go to our very first conversation this morning, taking a look at insecurity and how unemployment fuels this particular problem, which has become hydra-headed in Nigeria since 2008. 109, I dare say. Now, let's talk to Joseph Oboko, who is a finance and economy expert, is joining me virtually this morning, as well as Dr. David Aheruvo, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and fellow of the Institute of Chartered Economists. They are both joining me on Zoom this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. It's good to have both of you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Kunde.
All right. It's nice to know that you can hear me clearly. So let me start with you, Joseph. Let me start with you. Unemployment has been adduced as a major fuel for insecurity in Nigeria because the argument is that the idle hand is the devil's workshop.
The devil's workshop.
Which means that a lot of young people who have no gainful means of employment are being recruited, some of them surreptitiously, into banditry and into terrorist groups. So what's the nexus between the two? I'd like you to break it down for us.
Thank you for having me on your program, and thank you, Nigerians. The issue of unemployment is a major concern to the people and government of Nigeria. As you said, the idle man is a devil's workshop. The idle man is a devil's workshop, and as you can see, the last report that we had from Bureau of Statistics shows unemployment at 4.3% in this country, and underemployment at 9.2%. So it's not that we have unemployment, we also have people who are not working enough. Even those who are employed are underemployed. So it's a major problem. And when people are not settled, concern unemployment becomes a major, major problem. When you locate from one location to another, of course, you have to change your work. You have to move your family, you have to change your parents' school and all that. So the insecurity is actually feeding the issue of unemployment in Nigeria. It's a major problem that is fueling unemployment. And until we're able to address that, it's likely to get worse.
Okay. Dr. Heruvo.
Yes, sir.
When you take a look at the intertwined crises, systemic unemployment and insecurity, one would also wonder why, when you have an economy that has about 80% or thereabouts of its employable population
graduates
in the informal sector, and government is encouraging them to innovate, to start new businesses, and of course become employers of labor rather than looking for employment. So what seems to be the problem where we have more people who are unemployed or underemployed today, and making them vulnerable to recruitment into these nefarious activities?
Banditries, yes. Well, let the spade be called a spade. I want to correct one impression that unemployment is feeding the security issues in Nigeria. I don't think that is right. Let us look at the history. The issue of banditry, the issue of unemployment has been there in Nigeria for a very long time before the banditry. The banditry came in 2012 to 2014, when the politicians want to take it by force because they want power. That's the truth. They brought in the foreign mercenaries, and these banditries really escalated to throw out Jonathan. Now they've done it, and it continues to
Dr. Heruvo,
because
I'm constrained to...
Yes, please,
I'd like to ask you what proof you have of what you just said. That this assertion is a very weighty one. For you to dump this at the doorstep of the political class.
Let me explain, and I'll get to where you want it, because that is the truth. Whether we say it or not, The truth is that it is the politicians that created the insecurity, nothing more. Nothing more. And the unemployment, in fact, the security now worsened the unemployment, the economic situation in the country, because farmers who are even developing a little bit before that time, before 2015, could no more go to farm. Inflation, food inflation rise steeply as from 2017 or thereabout. Then the people cannot even, the government cannot perform. That is the issue. The federal, the government of the day then cannot perform up to now. And of course, they started creating a wider unemployment range that cannot be filled. No government employment from that time to this time, except people. There's no transparent government employment. I can bet you that. Then secondly, we have a situation where the industries that are even left over up to 2023 started packing out of the country because there is no electricity, no power. The case of power become more degenerated and appalling in such a way that, big companies like Dunlop, other companies started moving, their production line to neighboring countries. We all know that. That is not a lie. So let's call a spade. Wherever the government is doing well, I will come to this medium and say it. Wherever they are not doing well, I'll say it. But the issue of insecurity is caused by the government, and they should solve it. And they should not be passing the buck or making the citizens to blame others and making themselves to look politically right.
Well,
the pastors they are blaming has nothing to do with this.
Let me come back to Joseph now, and I want to bring to you something that has been raised by one of our viewers this morning on our YouTube channel, and it's coming from DJ. He thinks that unemployment is also as a result of high taxation by the government, and he's talked about the devaluation of the naira, which he thinks are destructive economic policies that are fueling the unemployment that we see in Nigeria today. What do you think about this this allegation? I call it an allegation.
Well, let me start by making it very clear. The new tax regime, if you look at it very critically, is quite friendly. It has been able to provide some kind of tax savings for the very poor, all those of minimum wage and below. Companies that are doing less than $100 revenue have been exempted from income tax. So you cannot say that the new tax regime has actually caused unemployment.
Okay.
Rather, you can a new tax rate for the high end of the society will reduce savings and additional investment. But you cannot argue that the current tax law, the new one, has caused unemployment. What are you taxing? You are taxing income and profit. So if there is no income that has been earned or profit that has been made, then there's no tax. So you cannot put the cart before the horse and say that, oh, because there's high tax, you didn't make an income, or because of the high tax, you didn't get employment. No, I don't think that is right.
Okay. So, Dr. Heruvo, your last intervention, you said unemployment has been with us even before insecurity, before terrorism and insurgency came into Nigeria. But then, one thing that is clear here is that the unemployed and underemployed people, now, we were talking about it during the newspaper review with my reviewers here, that it's more or less now a business to kidnap people. For instance, you had a newspaper headline talking about the vice chairman of a local government in Ekiti State faking her own kidnap so that she can realize money to pay off some debts that she incurred somewhere, somehow. Now, this seems to support the view by a number of people that kidnapping and banditry have become businesses. Now, if you look at the fact that there's high youth unemployment, conservatively put around 70-something% of the population, leaving millions of able-bodied individuals free to be, or should I say, vulnerable to recruitment by armed groups and bandits. I don't know, what do you think is a real issue here?
Yeah, I know there could be some soft exceptions of people trying to explore the situation, the bad situation in the city, in the country, to plan abduction of people and extorting money. There's no doubt about it. The whole business of banditry has also turned to a larger business sector, because people believe that when they join banditry, they earn more. That is where I will say, okay, for people that have link with them, they are recruiting people and enticing the youths with higher salary. You even imagine that most of the bandit staffs or guys are earning more than our soldiers. So if the military, if military personnel has any link with them, they can be diverted, because the whole issue, the whole essence of man is to live and live well. That's the truth of the matter. But the issue is that the government is aware of this. They know, they come out several times to say so. Gumi came out to say that they are known. They go to the bandits or their dens, and they negotiate with them, accompanied with police, accompanied with security personnel. So there is no hidden fact about it, that the government is aware of it. It is used as a business entity, even by some state government, who has decided to pay bandits. When El-Rufai was there, he said that he was paying bandits. The fact is that the whole bulk of this situation lies at the feet and at the door of the federal government and the state government. If they want to solve it, let them solve it. If they don't want to solve it, well, I will only advise that individuals should be permitted. If you are talking of, I heard you people discussing that security is everybody's business. If it's everybody's business, then let everybody carry gun. Before you shoot me, I will shoot you. That's
why it is first primarily the business of government to provide security.
Even Constitution
we agree.
Section 2(1)(b) said it is the responsibility of the government to secure life and property. It's simple.
Dr. Heruvo,
that is
Emmanuel Azikiwe and Ezra Chance, they agreed with me that it is the business of government.
Now, then they should permit us to carry every individual to carry gun.
I think I can add a word to the issue of calling banditry or kidnapping a business.
It's a big business.
I think it should be called a high crime, not a business. To call it a business, to legitimize it and make it look attractive to some people. It's a crime and should be condemned as such. It's not a business.
While it is, excuse me, sir.
Okay,
excuse me,
Dr. Heruvo.
Please,
Dr. Heruvo,
yes.
Can you hold on? I don't want us to lose track of what we're trying to discuss, the discussion
okay,
here.
Sir.
Now, is there really a gap between what the skills that people are meant to learn that are applicable to today's economic realities and what our higher institutions are giving to graduates who are out there? Because I've heard a number of people say that they've talked to graduates and very many of them are unemployable.
Yes, I agree with that view to a very reasonable extent, that our present graduates, they have some very serious deficiencies. Educational system is very poor in this country, because we train for certificates, we don't train for the jobs. We don't educate for jobs. We educate for certifications. That is one of the truths. Now, if you get to England, in accounting where I am a professional, if a diploma in ACCA come out, he will be able to post your ledger seamlessly and do everything that you want in a prime bookkeeping. But in Nigeria, even you discover some accountants that call themselves accountants, they can't post correctly. They don't have the technical know-how. They cannot. So they train the Nigerian education system, educate people for certifications and not for the. But in those days, around 80s, in the 80s when I graduated in 1982, what they do is to polish the graduates. We have what is called graduate training. It happened in Guinness. It happened in MBL.
So many companies.
It happened in major companies. Immediately they recruit you, you go for training. Even in CBN where I finish up, when we recruit people, we take them for training in Lagos for for almost a month. Why? Because we want them to, no matter how clever and how well educated that person is, he needs to know. He needs to be very familiar with your procedure, with the company's procedure,
yes,
and
the company
that
culture.
is the basis for the orientation and training.
Okay.
So, but the fact is that the graduates we have presently generally are deficient. Some can't even write letter, cohesive, clean letter. They won't be able to do it.
All right.
We need to restructure our curriculum and do the best for the industries to take over. To take off. For industries to benefit from it, and for the entrepreneurs to be able to employ.
Joseph, we are running out of time now. There's another issue I would like you to pick up, and that is another school of thought that believes that having a lot of unemployed graduates has also unwittingly allowed bandits, terrorists, and kidnappers to become even more sophisticated, because a lot of young people who are well-educated graduates are now involved in all of these vices. Do you think that's the real situation?
I think I want to agree with you to some extent, because when one is idle, anything is possible. And so you can't rely on the fact that out of the whole unemployed youths who are educated, some might end up going astray. Some could convince to get into these high crimes. It is very, very possible, and I think that has happened down the road. Because the way the country is going, you can also see that they are now becoming very sophisticated. They are now on social media, they have their own tracking system, and so on and so forth. These schools have been done by people who are not educated. So the employment has also fueled that level of crime.
So in the final analysis, Joseph, we're winding up now because we have to go in the next 3-4 minutes. What can Nigeria do? What steps should government be taking? What should Nigerians be doing now to find a remedy to this kind of situation, especially to bring insecurity to an end?
I think the government has to be very honest about the way the country is governed. There is a lot of lip service to the problem. These bandits in some states, they almost operate like another arm of government. And so I believe that our security agencies can deal with this situation, but for some political reasons, it has lingered. And unless and until the government sits up and says, look, enough is enough, we aren't going to make any serious headway. So everything falls back to the hand of government. Individuals on their own can also do a lot by being vigilant, by reporting whatever comes their way. But even if you make a report and nothing comes out of it, you will rather not take another report the next day. That's the truth of the matter.
All right, Dr. Heruvo.
Yeah, Mr. Kunde, yes.
What do we do as a nation?
I can chip in something over there, isn't it?
Yes, you can.
Now, what I suggest the government should do is to release all the military personnel, both the Air Force, Naval, and the Land Army, and face this challenge like war. It's no more a child's play. But if they refuse to do that in the next 3 months, I will advise that individual should arm themselves and be prepared for these bandits, especially the Christians that are the main targets.
Dr. Heruvo,
the Christians
Dr.
should,
Heruvo, hang on a minute.
The Christians should organize themselves.
Hang on a minute. Dr. Heruvo, hang on a minute. The children who were kidnapped in Orire local government, the children,
yes,
the students and pupils who were kidnapped in Borno, in Zamfara, the kidnappers
the children
did
that
not...
were kidnapped in Oyo State are all Christian children.
The kidnappers did not differentiate.
Baptist school.
Hang on,
the children
Dr.
that are
Heruvo.
Kidnapped.
Hang on, Dr. Heruvo. I'm the one anchoring this show. So hang on and listen to me. The children who were abducted in Borno State, in Zamfara, in Oyo State, in that same Orire local government, I'm not sure. I can be sure that the kidnappers did not segregate them to say, okay, Christians stay on one side, Muslims stay on one side, we'll abduct the Christians. I don't think that is the case.
So why is Leah Shaibu never back?
It's not just Leah. You are picking Leah Sharibu out as evidence of Christians being victimized. But I'm saying that Nigeria has a major problem.
We do. I agree with you.
If you pick up the names of all the students and pupils who have been abducted, I'm sure you will find several Muslims among them and several other people.
I don't have an issue with that. I agree.
Exactly. So I don't want us to begin to ascribe religion to this. We shouldn't religionize it at all.
But it's there. Whether you want to religionize it or not, the fact is that it is there. It's a fact. It's undebatable. It's unrefutable.
You are still going back to that.
It is there. There is no doubt about it.
Let's talk about...
Their aim is to Islamize the country. They said it. What is their condition to Oyo State government now? That they want to put in Sharia law. That's their demand now.
Dr. Heruvo, you and I know that...
In Oyo State.
You and I know that Oyo State is part of...
Is that not Islamization?
Hold on. You had your say. Oyo State is part of the Southwest, where the Yoruba are the main ethnic group there. In fact, the Southwest is entirely Yoruba. And I am a Yoruba man, and I know that I have cousins
exactly. That's why I'm comfortable saying this.
We do not, Yoruba people do not discriminate, but let's not tribalize or regionalize this. I'd like us to look at how we go about addressing the problems that we have. In 30 seconds, can you give me one or two templates that you think we can use to address unemployment, which people have said is fueling insecurity?
Okay, as I was saying before, we have this struggle. Let me go back to it. Now, what I was saying is this: the federal government should release all the army and fight this battle as it should be.
Okay.
Except they want to agree with the opinions of people that says they are behind it. If they are not behind it, if Tinubu knows that he's not behind this insurgency, he didn't sign any agreement with them to bring him to the government, he should release all the army and let them fight this battle. I mean, we have fought this type of, we have gone to Congo, we have gone to Liberia, we have gone to Sierra Leone.
All right, Dr. Heruvo, I think your point is made. I think your point is made, Dr. Heruvo.
Secondly, there should be either a state police and a very serious intel system that will dictate them before they even operate.
All right.
Then we should also equip ourselves as individuals. Don't wait for the government to come and save your life.
All right, Dr. Heruvo, I think
yours.
your point is totally made. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Dr. David Heruvo is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and is also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Economists of Nigeria. He's been joined by Joseph Oboko, who is a finance and economy expert, talking to me virtually this morning, looking at insecurity and the nexus with unemployment. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you, and good morning, Nigerians. Thank you so much.
All right, so much for the very first conversation. Stay with us. In a minute or so, Onoshore Nabozege will be here. It will be Kakaaki Social O'Clock.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Ray Power Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
Hello everyone, welcome to Friday. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this day to come so that we can finally have a weekend, even though a weekend is like some 2 hours. But this is Kakaaki Social. I'm Onoshore Nabozege. Across to Oyo State, as we start, by a new dimension appears to have emerged in the abduction of teachers and pupils in Orire local government area of Oyo State, with leadership newspapers reporting that the kidnappers are demanding a 1 billion naira ransom paid into an account in the Benin Republic and the implementation of Sharia law as conditions for the release of the victims. According to the report, which cited the Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Adebo Ogundoyin, the abductors are also demanding 2 Hilux vehicles, food supplies, and the release of suspected terrorists in detention. From the Speaker's viral video, he is strongly opposed to negotiations to secure their release for these reasons.
Everything that is necessary for them to bring these children and teachers back. If it was up to you, would you negotiate with terrorists? If terrorists ask for weapons, they ask for money, they ask for concession on future laws of this land as part of their ransom, if you are the governor, would you accept those ransom? Would you accept for those people to be integrated into that community? We don't know the details. So please, let's be sensitive and calm. You do not know the details. The more you negotiate with these people, the more you are going to embolden them. So please.
All right, that's the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly right there. On Instagram, that's where we start this morning. CJ Brown says, let's be sensitive and calm. Quoting him partly, he says, cause no be your family members, they there. And now to X, we'll take His Royal Majesty Oba Omotosho Bayo. He says, bandit wants implementation of Sharia law in Oyo State as part of the ransom demanded. We told you these are Islamist jihadists, but you said no. Political correctness will not help you and me. In another reaction, Equity and Justice says that should be a fair deal, provided those children are released back to their families. After all, the majority of Yorubas are Muslim and believe in Sharia. So implementing Sharia law there should not be a problem if that will bring peace in the state. The Yoruba chose their fate with the Fulanese a long time ago, so let them coexist in peace. We're still on that story. Scoot says, now I expect that the government will be working with the government of Benin Republic to know whose name that account is in and probably see if they can be arrested. That's the Benin Republic account that the money should be paid into. But we'll go back to 2022, August 4th exactly. Netizens have brought this back, a post by Omotayo Williams that has said at the time that in exchange for Northern vote, Tinubu pledged to the Supreme Council for Sharia to expand the reach of Sharia to southern state if elected. With a Muslim-Muslim ticket, Sharia law will be enacted and enforced in Southwest, starting from Oyo and Ogun State. And that's the place that I marked in red right there. 6:15 p.m. on August 4th, 2022. Netizens have said, oh, well, we had a heads up, and this is probably what is going on with the very last line starting from Oyo and Ogun State. Could this be the case at this point? Well, still in alignment, but differently now. We have heavy security that was deployed around the presidential villa in Abuja on Thursday as activists and AAC presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore moved ahead with plans for a protest over the abduction of school children and teachers in Oyo and Borno State. Armed security personnel mounted checkpoint and restricted access to key route leading to Aso Rock, aimed amid fears of possible disruptions. The hashtag Occupy Aso Rock demonstration is to pressure the federal government to secure the release of the victims and tackle the growing insecurity crisis. All right, let's bring you in and see how you react into this. We start from Femi Mayowa, who says, if Nigeria was a serious country, the whole country should be in protest, but some are still watching to see if it will affect them directly before they take action. Still on X to take another reaction, Kamal says, does Sowore think by doing this he will have a chance to be Nigeria's president? Apparently, maybe that's not the case for him. For this user too, it says, power is not given a la carte. You cannot sit down, open a menu and say, give me small power, add authority to decide. No, power is taken. Sowore for president anytime, any day. And so more thought to this one would be from Kata Efe Hub NJ says, enough is enough. Enough of the propaganda and empty promises. A leader who cannot protect lives has lost the right to rule. That user right there agrees with the protest ideal that if you cannot secure us, you have to give way. Now, the Nigeria Police Force has arrested a man identified as Ifechukwu Dennis over an alleged AI-generated voice note that falsely portrayed President Bola Tinubu discussing sensitive political issues, including election strategies, insecurity, and opposition figures. The doctored audio, which circulated widely on social media, was earlier attributed to Very Dark Man by the presidency because his face was used before fact-checkers flagged it as manipulated. We had it on Kakaaki social while that was on Trend Stable. Now, police investigations reportedly traced the content to the suspect, who is accused of creating and distributing the clip. But the investigator, if we can call him that, is accusing the presidency and the police of arresting a wrong person.
Ifechukwu Dennis' family reached out to me that some unknown men came to his workplace and arrested him. And so I sent a lawyer to DSS office in Abuja today to confirm the arrest, because I don't want to make any video without actually, confirming that truly it was DSS Abuja that picked him up. Only for me to, somebody sent it to me now that Bayo Onanuga, that's the spokesperson of the president, just put up a press conference that, and I'll put it on this video, that Ifechukwu Dennis has been arrested by the DSS. So, and I'm seeing my video just underneath it. I'm the one who did the investigation. You should reach out to me. Like, why would you arrest a young man without understanding the full details? But like, why won't you reach out to me? I did the work. So I did an investigation. I brought somebody out, and you go and pick the person up without even listening to the full video, because in the full video, I've done further investigation that he's not the one. Of course, we can punish him for spreading false news, but he's not the one who created the video.
All right, let's bring you in and see how you react. In Uptown of Lagos says somehow nobody ever saw the very dark man doctored clip online until Bayo Onanuga reposted it. Somehow he was the first to repost it. Onanuga somehow saw it even before Tunde Ednot and bloggers told someone the end would be them unveiling one Emeka as the culprit. So predictable. Well, is Ifechukwu at this point? Omo Somolu says, normalize understanding that they just needed a permission and distractions for their ineptitudes. They just took in a scapegoat. What a country, and is heartbroken. Coming from X as well, Adam Style fixes all this one at damage control. That's responding to the person who says it did the investigation. Why did you expose him initially? And yes, some more reactions. This Oluomo of Derby says, this is irrelevant to us. They should use the energy and rescue the kids in Oyo State. If the IGP crack team can't rescue the kids in Oyo State, then they are nothing but a bunch of cowards. We don't need the police to issue any useless statement. We're not interested. Rescue the kids in Oyo State is our only interest. Well, in alignment, we also have a Johnson Ele that has been arrested as the Nigeria Police Force has intensified its crackdown on the spread of false security information online. The social media user in Ogun State is accused of publishing a fabricated video claiming widespread kidnappings and bandit attacks along the Owode Idiroko Road of the state. He confessed to creating and sharing the video to attract online attention and increase engagement. Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, also disclosed that another individual was arrested in Abuja over a separate post alleged to have caused public panic. So Bayo Onanuga revealed these two arrests, and for this one, he attached this picture right there, and it says, the police have also arrested this Nigerian who made an alarming post about Abuja security, spreading fear among citizens. By arresting him, the police have sent the clear message that reckless users of the social media won't go scot-free. Let's check his comment section. Ayo says, another good job. If not curtailed, the damage these criminals can cause to public safety is even worse than what an individual kidnapper can cause. By the time a few of them creating and spreading fake news mark time in jail, others will sit up. Okay, Augustus, King of Truth, brings out this picture, one of the countless pictures and videos online of bandits brandishing or showing off their ransom. And he says, but IGP crack team, no fee ever see bandit catch. And then in another reaction, still under his comment section, coming from X, we have Emmy, who says he made just a video from his home. He was located within few days, but these bandits are doing TikTok live, calling victim guardians via video call, posting their earnings on social media. Sir, I have just one question for you. What is really going on? Emmy is asking Bayo Onanuga. The Onisha goat seller says, to arrest user of social media, una sent DSS, police, and army to rescue kidnapped school children. Una sent local untrained hunters. Now the brain, what una say, Kurubu get but this, whoever Kurubu is right there. But referring to the 1,000 forest guard from the state, the community and the local government, the presidency says they would come from within them to rescue our abducted children and teachers. Well, former Labour Party presidential campaign spokesman Kenneth Okonkwo has alleged that Peter Obi is working in the interest of President Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2027 general elections. Okonkwo, who served as a spokesperson for Obi's 2023 presidential campaign, is arguing that the former Anambra State governor's current political approach could ultimately benefit the ruling APC and President Tinubu. He maintains that a fragmented opposition would weaken effort to unseat the incumbent.
The votes of the coalition and the opposition, you are still making Tinubu to be a better place to win. That's what Bloomberg said. Now, nobody forced you, P2B, to enter into ADC. You entered on your own. And 1 week to the end of the closure of the time, you left. And you gave the reason. What reason did you give? You can't compete in primary. And you want to be a politician. And you can't compete in primary. You want to be the president of a challenged country. And you're running away from challenges. Let me tell you, the truth is that in 2027, anybody voting any vote whatsoever to P2B, you're voting for Tinubu.
Let's bring you in. Selfless Duke says, can someone please advise this man to even campaign for just local government chairmanship? Let's see how he performs. He's embarrassing himself already. Can't believe we trusted him for nothing. But in another reaction, we have coming from X as well, a user who did graphics of he speaking from both sides of his mouth, having two mouths. This is Chidi Ukanu, who did these graphics showing Okonkwo says he has two mouths, and he says, you supported Buhari, you supported Obi, you supported Atiku. Who is next? Tinubu is asking right there, but that's the veteran actor speaking from two mouths on the same head. Smith Creator says if Peter Obi wanted to work for Tinubu, he would have just accepted a ministerial appointment or joined APC directly like the others. Why go through the stress of building an entire movement just to split vote? This logic is living in bondage part 3. I mean, let's see more. John says, once people don't work with Tinubu for 1 or 2 years, why them they always go back to the fight him or not relate with him anymore? Why? And people were saying, we're not sure because he's Okute. Someone told me Okute is something like a hard surface, a stone, so it passes for a determined person or even a kagum. We know they give shit kind of thing. Nina says they are all fighting Peter Obi now because he took attention away from their party. In politics, nobody really loves you. It's just game, game, game. The best player wins. Indeed, right there. So from that, we highlight our final story for the day, which will be that the senior pastor of Omega Fire Ministries International, Apostle John C. Suleiman, is alleging that President Bola Tinubu rigged against his own self in the APC presidential primary despite emerging as the party's consensus candidate. He questioned the credibility of a primary election in which Tinubu secured 11 million votes, arguing that if such figures could emerge in a contest without real opposition, Nigerians should be concerned about what could happen during the 2027 general elections. He says when multiple candidates are legit on the ballot.
Wickedness in the country now, I'll just be minimized. But once they release those children, I will keep quiet. But I will not stop. That's the truth. Wickedness in the leadership of this country is endemic. That a party picked a man as the consensus candidate. Nobody ran against him. He still rigged it. You are the only one. Nobody's running against you. You are the consensus candidate. The other man or whatever who ran, that was cosmetic. Sir, we give you the party flag. Carry. You are the presidential candidate. We are still hearing 500, 501, 7,000. Nobody is running against you. You are still rigging your own primaries that you have no opponent. It's a nature. So you won't say, so just imagine the general election.
All right, that's Apostle Johnson Suleiman right there, the president of OFM International, speaking tough while saying that. Everyone, it's happy hour. Thank you so much for being a part of the program this week. I'm Rena OBO, and we are AIT_online. I'll see you again on Monday. For now, enjoy your weekend in the voice of Mr. President. Bye.
Out you come.
With the shortage of brand new aircraft delivery across the world, Emirates decided to go it alone and refurbish over 200 of our existing planes at our own engineering facility. This makes it the largest retrofit program on the planet. For our customers, it means even greater consistency of a world-class product.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point oh.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as Sure Banker. Progress na small wind wey dey carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Mo go buy ball.
Victor, even you dey use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
Out you come.
With the shortage of brand new aircraft delivery across the world, Emirates decided to go it alone and refurbish over 200 of our existing planes at our own engineering facility. This makes it the largest retrofit program on the planet. For our customers, it means even greater consistency of a world-class product.
We don't like to eat better. More nutritious meals, more veggies. But we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes. That's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic. And enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Out you come.
With the shortage of brand new aircraft delivery across the world, Emirates decided to go it alone and refurbish over 200 of our existing planes at our own engineering facility. This makes it the largest retrofit program on the planet. For our customers, it means even greater consistency of a world-class product.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Ray-Bar Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
In the hallowed chambers where laws are forged and a nation's destiny is decided.
This is your parliamentary program, Inside the Parliament on AIT.
Voices rise, opinions clash, debates ignite.
We cannot be apologetic in the discharge of our constitutional duties as lawmakers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The burden of proving that the elections have been conducted peacefully and in accordance with law must shift to INEC.
From the Senate to the House of Representatives, this is where policies are tested, laws are crafted, and authority is held to account.
We spoke to some lawmakers on their opinions of the document presented by the president.
Every motion, every argument carries the hopes of millions.
We need more hospitals, more health clinics in communities so that they can effectively take care of the primary health need of our people.
The questions are tough. The exchanges are intense.
Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice.
And those who want the proviso are 55 in number. And so the proviso says.
But who truly stands for the people? Who is driving the change that defines our tomorrow?
Let us tell ourselves the truth. Why are we here talking about LGBT, GTBT, whatever?
Get the answers on Where Nigeria Decides on Inside the Parliament on AIT every Tuesday, 4:30 p.m.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Ray Power Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us on Kakaaki, the African Voice, this Friday. Time for our second conversation. And we left off talking about the nexus between insecurity and unemployment. Now let's take a look at what the nexus is between insecurity, especially the recent attacks on the soft targets of schools and how that affects child development. You do know that Wednesday of last week was May 27. It was Children's Day, but was there much to celebrate for the Nigerian child? I had a group of children here in the studio who said, well, they had things to celebrate, but it could be better. So let's look at this. What impact is insecurity having on child development here in Nigeria? Just yesterday, there was a scramble around Nyanya, a suburb of Abuja, not quite 10 minutes away from where I am sitting right now, as parents were all over the place trying to get their children out of school because of a report that they heard, which later turned out to be a hoax and confirmed by the Nigeria police to be a hoax, that some kidnappings had happened, some were close by, and people were just scrambling to get their children out of school and keep them in the safety of their homes. So how does this affect the children, their education, their general development? Let's talk to Dr. Charity Akpangbo now. Dr. Charity Akpangbo is the Development Convener of Unity and Diversity Global Village 2026. She's joining me virtually now. Good morning, Dr. Akpangbo. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you too?
I'm good. It's good to see that you can smile. A lot of mothers are not smiling this morning because either their children have not gone to school because of fear of kidnapping, or in some cases, They actually have children in captivity, like a woman who said her 4 grandchildren and daughter-in-law are in captivity, part of those taken away in Orire local government. Now, as bad as this may sound, all of this that's happening, when we take a look at it, how does it affect the psyche of children? Because children think differently from the way adults do. I suppose I'm right on that.
Yeah, of course, you're very, very right. Good morning. So it's so unfortunate. Good morning, viewers. It's so unfortunate, what's going on in the country right now, that children are becoming the soft targets, for the kidnappers and insecurity. And it's not a good thing at all for the country as a whole and also for the children themselves. Because right now, the fear, it's already building fear in the minds of children. How can a child go to school feeling safe that he or she's going to come back home to the parents? How can parents even go to work when their children are going to school and feeling safe that their children will come back to him? It's a very, very big problem because our children today, they are not just the future leaders today. Children is the development of the nation. Children are the future that we're seeing. And whatever we incite in them today is what's going to affect how they think and how they relate to the society. So it's very, very important that the federal government steps in and do everything under their power to ensure that this kidnapping, this insecurity is cut down to its barest minimum. Well, thank God the bandits they've been declared bandits and terrorists. So how are we treating them? The government have to treat them as the terrorists that they are. What happens to terrorists? If you treat them that way, then other people will not join into the same attack, and the country will feel a bit safe. Children are our future leaders. If we don't protect them today, what will happen to them tomorrow? It is the role of the government and the society to protect our children today, to avoid a negative mindset. If the children grow up with negative mindset, it's going to affect how they think. It's going to affect even their job. So the government is meant to shift from I don't want to say that the government is protecting. The government is not protecting, but the government have to be firm with dealing with this issue of insecurity. They have to treat it as it is. They have to mobilize their men, go in there and rescue these children.
Dr. Akpangbo, since 2014, when the Chibok girls were taken away from their school in Borno State, the government secondary school in Chibok in Borno State, almost 300 girls were taken. We have seen school abductions one after the other. In fact, in some cases, not just abductions, like in the case of the Federal Government Boys College in Buni Yadi, 50 boys were killed in 2014 as well. Several hundreds of others were taken away by these bandits. You said the government should step in. Government has been at the forefront of fighting this thing for so long. Now, my question really is, what are we not doing right? Is it that we have not paid enough attention to securing our schools, or what exactly do you think it is?
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely. I think the government is not doing enough. The government is not doing enough. We have a safe school project. The government is not doing enough to protect these children. How many of those schools have security in them? How many of those schools have perimeter fencing around them? How many of those schools, how many police stations do we have close to some of these schools? And how equipped are the police officers, whose job is to protect life and property? How equipped are they to even fight the insurgents, to fight the insecurity when it happens? So I don't think the government is doing enough. The government have to step up from providing adequate equipment, training and materials for the security personnel to be able to fight this thing when it comes to them, to safeguarding the schools and the students, providing enough security for the schools, ensuring that the school system, the school environment is even safe for the students to be able to stay and learn as they should. So some of these things are what the government is not doing, and the government have to start. It is a responsibility of the government to protect these children. If the government is failing in that angle, can these kids protect themselves? Can the society protect themselves? Or do the government want individuals now to pick up arms and start fighting to protect themselves and their family? Which is not where the point where I think our society wants to get to. So the government have to do more. The government really have to do more to start solving this problem. Yes, since the federal government boys kidnap and even the relay incident, okay, after this incident, what has been done? I think, have the president even visited any of those local governments? Look at what is happening outside. When things happen, you see the president, cutting short his trip, visiting that community to sympathize with them, to encourage them, and putting his fist on the ground, speaking to the governor and everybody in charge in that state to ensure that this is dealt with. If we continue playing this game that we're playing, things will go out of hand. It's as it is now. Imagine since 2014, how many years ago to now?
All right.
More than 10 years.
Dr. Akpangbo, I'd like us to talk about child development now. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what this does to children. Now, I remember that as a primary school child, sometimes I had to stay in school for like 40 minutes or to 1 hour while waiting to be picked up after school with just maybe 2 or 3 other children in the entire school compound. And we were quite safe. We were really, really safe. And that was in the early 70s. And I'm wondering now what kind of mindset these children now who have to grow up in this environment where you don't know what happens next in the next few minutes. You are not even sure what's likely to happen as you are on the road going home. So what effect does this have on the mental and psychological development of children?
Mentally, children are down, emotionally, children's health are affected because you now start building fear in the mind of children. There's a lot of disorder in the way children reason due to the insecurity that is happening. Children are the future of this nation, as I said earlier. So child development is not just about now. It's not just about the future now. Okay, let's look at Nigerian media age, which is 18 years. If you look at that with our population of 220 million, about 43%, right, of that population is under 15 years. So that means about 95 million children. It's what we have in this country. So what can we do? Both UNICEF and World Bank have agreed that any country that ignores 43% of their population cannot develop. So children are not leaders of tomorrow until they are consumers today. The children decide now what happens in the family, what they buy. They have that choice. Children today are influencers. They influence some of the decisions that happen today. A child will teach the parents how to wash their hands to avoid cholera. Children are problem solvers. Okay, imagine the child in Kaduna that designed the rainwater harvesting plant for their school. So children are already playing key roles in the society. Mentally, if they are not attended to, this will affect everything about their upbringing. Emotional health is very, very important. Mental health is very, very important. What does the children do? The brain and learning. The brain have to be okay.
Okay.
You have to be smart for you to be able to learn properly.
I understand you.
Have to treat this. Yes.
I understand you, but currently, statistics that we have say that as many as 18 million Nigerian children are out of school. So if we're talking about children, so many of them. You talked about 90 something million children being part of the population of the country. And then out of these 90 something million, 18 million are out of school. What is that something that Nigeria should tolerate?
No. It's not something that Nigerians should tolerate. The government should now focus on building these children. The government should focus on providing more schools. The government should focus on empowering children. It's not just about schools now. We have to think about how else do we empower children through skills. If you start empowering children through skills, then also add the educational learning, providing soft loans for children to be able to start building themselves. You see that our future will be better. Children get more busy, with their schoolwork and with other activities around them to empower themselves. They'll become wealth creators and they'll start adding to the economy. So that is what the government have to start doing. We used to have technical schools and all that those days that empower children with skills. But the government, if they are setting up such thing now, you have to change the perception against that. Because a lot of kids then, when you ask them, like my elder brother, there was the time my dad took him out from his school because of his skills in engineering and all that, and he was fixing things in the house and said, okay, maybe you should go to technical school. The perception is that technical school is meant for house boys, and house girls, people that are of low, from low family or poor or something. So the society have to start doing a lot of awareness, mindset change. We need to change the way we think about some of these skills and empowerment. And then we need to project the positive impact of skills acquisition to the society. I'm very happy that at today's society, kids have actually started on their own learning skills. So the government have to key into that also. That even in the curriculum, they should bring it into the curriculum. Skills acquisition, not just as a club.
Yeah,
so that when children go home from school, they learn other things.
Okay. Those blue-collar jobs are absolutely vital for the Nigerian economy to run smoothly. It's not just about white-collar jobs. Blue-collar jobs are also very, very important. But let's talk about health issues affecting children for now. And one of them is about stunting as a result of poor nutrition and sometimes lack of adequate medication. A lot of children are still not vaccinated. So as a parting shot, what do you think Nigeria should be doing, and what can individuals and groups like yours do to change the narrative?
To change the narrative, I think Nigerians have to step up. It's very, very, very unfortunate that there's fear, there's constant malnutrition that disrupt the brain and how the kids grow. And there's also the constant struggle, So focusing on many children drop out of school. What do? We have to rescue these children. We have to bring in programs, initiatives that can educate these children, that can take these children, the ones that are out of school, that can take them back into school by teaching them skills. For instance, we're having this program that's coming up, the Unity in Diversity program. It's not just a cultural program. This is an empowerment program. We're teaching children how to start making money, how to be creative. We're teaching children, we're going to have entrepreneurship classes. We're going to have
when you say children, from what ages?
Okay, we're looking at from 6 years to 16 years.
6 years?
A child who is 6 years.
Won't that be child labor, child abuse?
It's not child labor. Some of these children already have skills. Like those 6 years, a lot of them like to draw. If you start enhancing their skills, their drawing skills, their painting skills, and those little